Yes, Secretary DARPG, Sri V. Srinivas, Secretary Earth Sciences, Dr. M. Ravichandran, Secretary Department of Biotechnology, Dr. Rajesh Gokhale, Secretary CSIR, Dr. N. Kalai Selvi. I welcome you all to this press conference this evening. The conference is structured in a manner that first you get a brief presentation from Director Sri Nakul Parashar, and then that will be followed by brief remarks by Secretary Dr. M. Ravichandran. Thereafter, Honorable Minister will give his remarks and floor will be open for question and answer. So I request Sri Nakul Parashar to start his presentation.
Namaskar, a very warm welcome to all of you to this press conference on Swachh Sagar Surakshit Sagar, a 75-day campaign that got started on July 5th and will culminate on September 17th, which is the International Coastal Cleanup Day as well. In this regard, we've all known how seas have been very important to us, and it's clearly mentioned, as we all say, Samudra Vasane Devi. 7,500 kilometer coastline, which depicts more than 9 different, which goes through 9 different Indian languages, is what we are trying to achieve, get to the coast, clean them, to ensure that not only our present but our future is secure, seas are secure.
So in this regard, a quick presentation on how we are progressing. Slides not moving. Anyway, while the slides move, so yeah, I'm trying to do that, sir. Unfortunately, it's not stuck up.
Anyway, while we get the PPT, run through some glitches here. The 75 days that have we planned, on of which many days have already gone. Most important is that we've been able to create a lot of mass awareness. और इस सारे प्रोसेस के अंदर करीब 75 अलग बीचेस जो हमने आइडेंटिफाई किए, उसके अलावा भी लोगों ने बहुत काम किया, साफ़ किया और ये प्रण किया कि हम ना सिर्फ इसको एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम बनाएं जो सिर्फ आज के लिए हो या कल के लिए हो, बल्कि एक अनवरत तौर पे चले. It has to go on. It cannot be a moment of triumph. It has to be a way of life, and that is what was clearly seen in the kind of people who got associated with us. Led by the Ministry of Earth Sciences, Government of India, this initiative was supported by a number of organizations like NCC, NSS, Coast Guard, Indian Oil Corporation, ONGC, Department of Space, Department of Atomic Energy, Department of Ministry of Science and Technology, Ministry of Forest, Climate Change, Fisheries, Ports, Shipping, Waterways, and many more. In this entire process, we also had a lot of support from Ministry of Education, where CBSE schools took part in major competitions at school level. We had people from higher education as well, and we organized a number of curtain raisers in this regard. There were about 26 places where we went around, organized various subject matter lectures, and we had small press meets of which we found a lot of coverage getting to the people, to the masses, print, electronic, social, digital. All possible media were duly covered, and all of this, we've seen number of days where that we had lead trending at different social media sites. On the electronic side, number of films that were made were showcased on India Science, India's only SNT OTT channel. Besides this, we have had number of competitions which were run by MyGov. More than 4,000 participants participated in these competitions, besides the ones that we spotted places. I personally went at different places, Kakinada, Visakhapatnam, and Srikakulam went to different places, and we'd organized a lot of painting competitions, elocution contest, essay contests as well. And besides this, a lot of cleanliness drives were organized. And I'm glad to tell you 4,855 people from NSS had joined so far, and they have so far amassed more than 30 tons of garbage. The idea is to go beyond plastics and to ensure that anything which is non-biodegradable doesn't go into the sea. Enough has already gone, but not now. Enough is enough. That's the message that we all want to ensure, that this, not only for people who live by the coast, but people who visit there also try to understand this. So the key objective we all know is about reduce, reuse, recycle. And then the proposition was to have a sustainable lifestyle for environment. So our outreach strategy was divided into inform, educate and engage, and create a value. Creative communication with visual index, with a lot of different strategies were put into place. We had brand ambassadors, we had celebrities who came forward on their own to record messages. And our media tools, as I said, were print, electronic, social, digital. We thought we would educate and then engage with people, and that was the idea behind the entire mass awareness program. So what do we do on 17th? So we've decided Mumbai, Juhu Beach to be a point where we're trying to do this main event on 17th of September, and we'll have other 75 beaches where subset programs would happen. How and what we have done so far, there were different weeks, theme-wise weeks that we have taken care of. And in this, we had a Monsoon Beach Festival, awareness about plastics, bike to beach, Plastics Se Azadi. The three are the R that I just spoke about, Teachers' Day week, and the race to finale. This is a list of these 75 beaches that you see on your screen, is what we're trying to achieve for the 75 days, 75 beach, 7,500 kilometer coastline. Now, things to do. We all know that we had a lot of awareness to be done, cleaner drives had to be done, a lot of content had to be created, and a lot of content had to be duly disseminated in different forms. So as I said, there were 75 films, 75 programs, 75, all of this around the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, the 75 figure. So far, this is a snapshot of what we have done in July, August, and September. Now, we all know that there were different 9 languages, so we had to look for all those possible print media, electronic media, where we could cater to their needs about the content. So we continuously, our content aggregation, editorial teams continuously worked round the clock to create content for these media. For all of this, we know that apps are an important device, support. So EcoMitram, which was created by one of our partners called Paryavaran Sanrakshan Gativiti, had registered more than 50,000 participants so far, and the numbers are counting. These are some images of our, there were so many images, so these are just an indicative set of images that we've put them together in the work that we have done all these days. This is how and what our media covered. This is just a small snapshot of. There were a lot of others that could have been brought, but that's a huge collection of snippets we have. As I said, we had celebrities who came forward, recorded their bites. So this is again a small number of those that we could put forward for you, because it shows a variety of people from different walks of life. We all know there are a number of celebrities who find it very important to endorse this as a part of their own willingness. So we have Madhavan and others also who have recently done this. So our mascot for this is Vasuki. We all know from the Samudra Manthan, we had Vasuki who played an important role. So this is what we have created here. And this is a small list of, and many more logos that could have been added here. So this was a very quick snapshot of how and what we've done so far and what we intend to do on 17th of September. So I'll certainly stop here and then leave it to our respected Minister Sir and our secretaries to take it forward from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Parasar, for this sweet and salt presentation detailing the subject. Now I'll request Secretary, Minister of Earth Sciences, Dr. M. Ravichandran. He would be giving a little more detail on the subject.
Yeah, very good afternoon to all. I think, as you all know, the ocean provides countless benefits to our mankind. Either you take it of food or minerals or what we breathe. Every alternative breathe, oxygen comes from the phytoplankton from the oceans. But however, lately the oceans are polluted and it has become more and more, it is what is called environmentally degraded. The health of the ocean is so degraded, it has become maybe in another 50 years or so, how many number of fishes are there, that many plastic will be there in the oceans. So considering the importance of health of the ocean, internationally, United Nations has envisaged, I think we need to start up, clean up the ocean, or we need to have a healthy ocean and sustainable oceans. So they started the third Saturday of September of every year. It has been observed as an International Coastal Cleanup Day. So that is why we used to actually last 2-3 years we were doing this type of cleanup activity in the coast. And our center in Ministry of Earth Sciences Center, National Center for Coastal Research, they monitor in each beach what are the different materials we get it, out of materials, how much plastic and what kind of plastics are available. So they used to document. Since this year is India's what is called 75th year, and also India is a leading country in Swachh Bharat mission we have initiated earlier. So I thought, why don't we start this ocean cleanup program in a bigger way when compared to other nations, because we are also surrounded by all three sides of oceans, and ocean is very unique, our Indian oceans. So we thought of this initiative started. So we started around 5th July 2022, then maybe 75 days, 17th September we end up with this mission. So each week, as Dr. Nakul Prasad mentioned about, each week we have a dedicated program like zero waste plastic, and there are various themes, eco, selfie, and there are about poisonous plastic and plastic, say, Azati, My Coast. So various themes we have initiated with the different coast and all the coastline. And we have made a lot of people, lot of students and various civic societies, and also some general public has participated in large amount, and it has become more vibration has initiated from India. I think many of the UN also has what is called specially made emblem for this what is called Swachh Sagar and Surakshit Sagar. Special design UN has made because of our reach of about clean up the oceans. I think now 17th September we will have a last end of the program, And maybe this is only to make awareness about the people. It is not only for the this particular 75 days. I think it has to come as a what is called as a part value chain. That means it has to be continued year along, or every importance of ocean has to be felt by the each countryman. So that is our main objective. Of course, it is also important to have a sustainable development goal, as 14.1 states that we need to have a prevent and also significantly reduce the marine pollution. So that is one of the important. And 2030, not only our nation, all the nations planned for at least 30% reduction in this plastic and other pollutions. So that is what we are aiming at this mission. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ravichandran, for your remarks. Now, I request Honorable Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh ji to address you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jitendra Prakash ji. At the outset, I have to compliment the entire team, which has very collectively, very painstakingly planned this entire campaign, which is coordinated by the Ministry of Earth Sciences. And I think one benefit which has come out of it, though inadvertently, is that the Ministry of Earth Sciences has certainly become very visible and it's being discussed. Pallav Bagla is laughing because he's seen it right from the beginning. And in fact, there was an occasion many years ago when I asked the Secretary of Earth Sciences, the then Secretary, I said, if you would conduct a survey in Delhi, how many people in Delhi would be able to tell where on earth exists the Ministry of Earth Sciences? So I'm glad that they had this opportunity. They have seized it well and also made the best of it and coordinated with the other ministries, including the environment, the Jal Shakti, the fisheries, the coastal guards, Navy. And they have risen to a level where they could also earn the acknowledgement from Honorable Prime Minister, which I think is a huge booster for each one of us and would be a great motivation in the next few days when we culminate this campaign. This is indeed the first of its kind campaign, and how the idea came also is a very strange sequence of events. For the first time, I thought of this when we saw some of the pictures from the Puducherry beach, where a lot of civil society involvement had also happened along with the government. The beach was not only cleaned, it was redone, it was renovated and beautified also. It was very impressive images. So since we were entering into Amrit Kal, I thought we could have a 75-day campaign dedicated to coastal cleaning. And then suddenly somebody told me that we have something called International Coastal Cleanup Day, which is being annually observed right from 1985. And it is observed on the third Saturday of every September. So when I looked at the calendar, what immediately struck me was the third Saturday was September, which also happened to be the birthday of the Honorable Prime Minister. So wo khurafati dimag mein aayi. So I calculated backwards and went to 5th July.
I think one of the newspapers also made a cryptic reporting about that, the Indian Express, that
While all the ministers are vying for 75 days campaign, here is one who is doing it by back calculation. So I actually didn't calculate it forward, I calculated backward from 17 backward, and we went to 5th July. And I'm glad that we have been able to sustain it
consistently. Not only sustain it, the graph has actually shown an upward rise all these days when we close to now 70 days. Now, what is the significance of him? That is something more important, something which requires to be very seriously introspected for long-term implications. A, of course, Swachhata, which is a flagship priority of this government, and none less than the Prime Minister of India spoke about Swachhata in his very first Independence Day address on the 15th of August 2014, soon after he had taken over as Prime Minister. And I'm sure many of the countrymen would have actually felt amused that here was a Prime Minister talking about toilets from the ramparts of the Red Fort. But then I think that was also a declaration of the intent of the things to come, that here was a government which was actually giving priority to the fundamental issues, the foundational issues, not making lofty claims and lofty platitudes from the Red Fort as the nation had got used over the last 6-7 decades. And that, I think if you look back 8-9 years, Prime Minister Modi has walked the talk, and we are glad that we have tried to live up to that commitment. So that was one aspect of it. Swachhata at every level, in every sphere of life. And hence also in this area, which is related to coast. Secondly, when we talk of Amrit Kal, and as Prime Minister has been repeatedly reminding us of the next 25 years, which are going to be very critical for India when India turns 100 and would be on the world pedestal. Where are we going to get this value addition done from? There's something very rarely spoken about, discussed. When all the other resources of value addition get saturated, one huge resource which would still remain unutilized or underutilized in India is the ocean resource. We have one of the longest coastal lines, 7,500 kilometers long. We have an ocean called Indian Ocean, named after this. The other day we had a group of scientists from Australia. So I told them, did you ever realize you come from a place which is also known as a country, which is also known as a continent, which is also known as an island. But the ocean around you is not known as Australian Ocean. Whereas I come from a country which is known as Indian Ocean. So when they looked back in the museum, I said, no, maybe my forefathers could see that there are a lot of undiscovered property lying underneath. जैसे पुराने ज़माने में ज़मीन में दबा जाते थे, उसके साथ पेड़ लगा देते थे. वो तब उन दिनों बैंक नहीं होते थे. 4 पीढ़ियों के बाद कोई पेड़ के नीचे छाँव में बैठा हो तो देखिए कुछ है नीचे, तो निकालता था, उसमें से घड़ा निकलता था, मटका निकलता था, जिसमें कुछ हीरे जवाहर. So I said, these are my ancestors left this for us, and that's why it's known as India. And therefore, I'm very clear whether, how many of us live there to see the next, the 2047. But huge economy value addition to India's 2047 status would happen from the ocean resource, because this is absolutely unutilized. And I'm glad through Ministry of Earth Sciences under Dr. Ravi Chandran, the process has already begun. They have already launched Samundaryaan to study, to discover the living and non-living resources, also the minerals underneath. The other day I was talking to some officials from the mining department. I said, your next concern will be illegal mining beneath the seabed. Today you talk of illegal mining on the sea, on the surface of Earth. So this is something which, so we have a huge stake in the health of ocean. We have a huge stake in preserving all these resources available, and we are exclusive to it. No other nation has this exclusive asset. So in order to preserve this asset also, we have to develop this habit, or as a part of, as he said, a behavioral instinct to look after it. Because it's not mere ocean, it's the future economy of India. The other significant part of this concept is that, as Prime Minister has been repeatedly saying, whole of government approach. So this 75 days has not only demonstrated a whole of government approach in the sense, it has all involved the ministries, all the departments in Government of India, A. It has gone beyond that and involved all the state governments. You will witness on the 17th, we have more than half a dozen governors themselves making themselves available to CBJ. We have the governor of Telangana, she herself there, she's one who's been also very actively working in the Puducherry week, Dr. Tamil Sai. We'll have the governor of Karnataka, Mr. Gehlot. We'll have the governor of Maharashtra himself being there. And similarly, we have a number of chief ministers, film celebrities. So on the one hand, you have the central government. On the other hand, you have the governments of the various states. And I would rather say, in our over-enthusiasm,
what has happened very hearteningly is that we have gone beyond whole of government and also made it whole of nation. So this is a unique instance of whole of government plus whole of nation. We have civil society sections from all walks of life. We have NGOs. The other day we were at the Madras beach, which is now known as Chennai, of course. The names keep changing. So the Chennai beach, when we went there, we found that there was already a Bharatanatyam shooting going on for a film. And all those artists also joined us. We had scientists, we had administrators, and of course doctors, medicos. They were actually celebrating an alumni event, and most of them were known to me, so they also joined. So it's an example of whole of government then involving whole of nation. And as I think one of the greatest hallmarks of every campaign launched under Prime Minister Modi is that the Prime Minister announces and the masses take it up, which was not witnessed earlier. Most of the government campaigns didn't receive much of attention. We have seen the fate of so many campaigns, including that famous Hamare Do, Hum Do, Hamare Do, which was launched in 1960. And I know how many of Do abhi hain. But this is one of the hallmarks of this government. And same here. Not only all the governments of the different states have lapped it up, even the masses have lapped it up. And the enthusiasm has been so much that, as was being
Shared with you in the presentation, that they have identified 75 locations, yes, symbolically, in tune with the Amrikal, every kilometer having 75 volunteers,
and the duration of the campaign 75 days. But what is actually happening on the ground is that the number of locations is much more. And you will be amazed when I tell you the number of locations has gone up to almost 400. 400 locations. Though we are confining ourselves to 75 for the sanctity of 75. But otherwise the number of locations has gone up so tremendously high. And we had also made a commitment that on that single day, 17th, when we culminate or conclude it, we would prove to the world that on a single day, if all of us join together, we can clear as much as 15,000 tons of plastic to make our shores free of plastic. But now my worry is not that. And when we began, I said, will we be able to do so? But all the NGOs who had joined us, they said, yes, we are there, we'll make it. Now my worry is reverse. Will we find 15,000 tons plastic where so much of clearing has already been done? It's been such an enthusiastic operation all these days that what we thought symbolically do on a single day has already been done. People are doing it on their own, mostly on Sundays. And of course, as I think Dr. Ravi was saying, that is just a symbolic campaign. Of course, the campaigns are meant for reiteration, any campaign for that matter, or they have a symbolism, and the symbolism is meant for reiteration. It's a Punah Samarpan. That does not mean that you only clean the sea beach on the 17th of September every year. That, like 2nd of October is Swachhata, that doesn't mean that you clean yourself only as Swachhata. Just as you shave your beard every day, doesn't mean that you do it only on 2nd of October. But yes, you retreat yourself, you remind yourself, you recommit to yourself. So this is more of a reiteration of something that we are looking forward or pledging to do for the next at least 25 years, so that we accomplish the dream which has been envisaged by the Honorable Prime Minister. And I think this ocean resource and the ocean-related activity is also going to be a huge source of a new genre of startups in the times to come. So this is going to be a new avenue, because somehow when we talk of startups, only the IT is, got fixed in our mindset, because it began from IT. But India's actually forte is ocean agriculture. Our Aroma mission is being spearheaded by boys who hardly have science background. One of our brand ambassadors in the Purple Revolution, who was there, even the 2-day conference, is a boy, I think, hardly class 10 pass out. So it's innovation is not necessarily science. no two words in English language have a similar meaning. That is something we should always bear in mind. So innovation is more of creativity than science. Of course, if you have a background of science and technology, you could innovate scientifically. But that does not mean that you are not at a liberty to innovate through other means. So in India, there's a huge resource for innovation for startups in the agriculture sector, in the dairy sector, as Prime Minister was mentioning only yesterday, and of course in the ocean sector. So we are actually now making a headway in a new foray which was left relatively unexplored in the years gone by. So I think that is going to be another contribution long term of this campaign. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So now floor is open for question answer. So we can start. Yes, 123. Yeah.
Hi, sir. My name is Anjali. I'm from UNI. So you were talking about how oceans are the future of our economy. Another huge problem is, like even in Indian Ocean, we have this huge garbage patch, which is commonly called Indian Ocean garbage patch, and microplastic, and our rivers are a major source of microplastic that is flowing. So is the government also looking in that direction to take some steps in that direction?
No, I think this campaign is also motivated by the same thought, and everything can't be left to government. So this is one dictum which I've always borne in mind. So all these successful campaigns happen when they are not left only to government. And one of the best examples is said, "Hum do, hamare do." So this is also, in fact, an evidence of that, and motivated by the same thought that you are saying. We have to take care of the health of the ocean waters, and the awareness is so much. Like for example, we have this island, Andamans. So the civil society living there, they said, what we would do is that we would make sure that all the garbage collected in the island is not thrown into the ocean. We'll make an arrangement to carry it to the mainland.
Yeah, just to add to that, actually microplastics and nanoplastic in the ocean also we are collecting. There is a research vessels and other things from the satellites. We know where the cyclonic and anticyclonic eddies are there. So there we go there and collect it from the ocean. Of course, you may be remembering that Prime Minister has announced about 100 days ship time of naval ship to remove these microplastics and other.
This deep ocean mission was also announced by the Prime Minister from the Red Fort. So that again is the kind of importance that the department that he heads is going to gain in the years to come. The other piece of information for you is, which you'll find interesting, is that we are going to have a Gaganyaan, an human being, an Indian human being into the sky, maybe into the space. That's possibly beginning of 24. Almost around same time, what I visualize, I hope we would succeed. We plan to send an Indian human down 5,000 meters. The deepest, 6,000 is the deepest surface of ocean. So one Indian human up, one Indian human down.
6,000.
6,000 is the maximum depth. I think to begin with, they'll start from a smaller depth, then gradually they'll reach that also. Sorry? क्या? नहीं एंड नहीं, देखते हैं, अभी कोशिश तो है जल्दी हो जाए। यार पल्लव, तुम इसको आगे क्यों धकेलते हैं आप?
सर,
पल्लव इज ऑलवेज स्केप्टिक।
सर नीरज हूँ न्यूज़ 18 इंडिया से। आपने बताया कि अभियान को इस तरह से प्लान किया गया कि 17 सितंबर को खत्म हो प्रधानमंत्री के जन्मदिन के मौके पर।
नहीं, दैट इज हाफ ट्रूथ। प्रधानमंत्री के जन्मदिन के लिए नहीं किया गया, इंटरनेशनल कोस्टल डे को खत्म करना।
ओके सर, ओके।
एक्चुअली क्या हुआ कि इंटरनेशनल, हमने ये प्लान किया कि इंटरनेशनल कोस्टल डे जो हर साल मनाया जाता है वो इसके साथ सिंबॉलिक है। तो ऐसा हो कि इसका समापन दिवस उस दिन हो, तो उसका समापन करने के लिए जब इंटरनेशनल कोस्टल डे कब है, जब वो खोजा तो पता चला कि हर साल सितंबर मास के तीसरे शनिवार को, तो तीसरा शनिवार इत्तेफाक से प्रधानमंत्री का जन्मदिन निकला है।
ठीक है, ठीक है। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कोस्टल,
सो नेवर द मैसेज शुड गो दैट इट वाज प्लान लाइक दैट, इट वाज प्लान द अदर वे अराउंड।
तो इत्तेफाक से उस दिन प्रधानमंत्री का जन्मदिन भी है। कई अभियान के मौके पर देखा गया है कि पार्टी के सांसद या मंत्री जो है
बिल्कुल
वो
ठीक
जाते
है।
हैं अभियान को एक मजबूती से रखते हैं देश की जनता के पास, तो ऐसा भी कुछ कार्यक्रम है कि पार्टी के सांसद और मंत्री कोस्टल एरियाज में जाएंगे और जो आपने कहा कि रिकॉर्ड 50,000 टन प्लास्टिक की सफाई होगी, ऐसा भी कोई कार्यक्रम है?
नहीं, निश्चय ही, ये आपने ठीक कहा। पार्टी की तरफ से भी, जैसे कि आपने देखा होगा, सरकार की तरह हमारे राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी का भी रहा है, उस दिन वार्ता रही। सेवा पखवाड़ा जो प्रारंभ किया जा रहा है 17 सितंबर को, 17 सितंबर से लेकर के 2 अक्टूबर तक, उसमें भी बहुत सारे हमारे पार्टी के लोग भी जुड़ेंगे। और ये जो कार्यक्रम हो रहे हैं, इसमें सरकार की प्रतिनिधि भी रहेंगे, समाज के प्रतिनिधि भी रहेंगे, और पार्टी के लोग भी समाज के ही सदस्य हैं। तो हर वर्ग के, मैं तो कहता हूँ कि हर पार्टी के लोग जुड़ जाएं। और हमने आह्वान भी किया, इसमें ये किसी पार्टी विशेष का कार्यक्रम नहीं है।
78.
15,000 टन, 50,000 नहीं, 15,000 टन।
So what happens to the 15,000 ton garbage you collect from the beaches?
Yeah, that's
Do you
a very,
plan to recycle it or?
yeah, very good question. I think that's going to be the new opening for India, the waste to wealth. And there's a huge potential to redo these things. And my personal opinion is that we should redo it with the involvement of the civil society. What we are doing is mostly we are redoing in labs that people don't know, otherwise they'll feel it. Like for example, in Dehradun, we have our institute, one of the CSIR institutes dealing with petroleum. They are recycling the cooked oil, the wasted oil, to produce alternate fuel. So out of my curiosity, when I was trying to study, I asked them, where do you get them from? So they told me they had got into some kind of an understanding with the corporation, and the health officers would provide them. I said, no, we have a better option. So I met the chief minister. I said, why don't you allow us to go from house to house and ask the housewife, because it was being purchased for 20 rupees per kg. तो मैंने कहा जब घर घर जाके गृहिणी को कहेंगे कि बहन जी जब रात को रसोई बंद करनी होगी तो तेल को नाली में मत फेंकना, यहाँ रख देना, हम सुबह आकर के ले जाएंगे 20 रुपया पर किलो। तो एक दिन गुजरेगा, 2 दिन गुजरेगा, 4 दिन, 5वें दिन वो सोचने पे मजबूर हो जाएगी कि कौन मूर्ख है जो मैंने तेल नाली में फेंकना था, ये मुझे कह रहा है मैं 20 रुपये में खरीदने आऊँगा। तो शी विल गेट इंक्विजिशन, शी विल आस्क एंड वी विल बी एबल टू टेल हर that is that will become a medium of awareness, her children, others. So I think a lot of about what you are mentioning, recycling and reusing, this psychology has to be built into the civil society as well. You want to add to that?
Yeah, for this campaign, we have packed up with the oil companies, mainly Indian Oil Corporation and other people. So they will take up the plastic, segregate the plastic, and they will go for recycling. It should not be allowed to go back again to the sea. That's the main objective.
If we allow the civil society, then they know the worth of it. When it becomes a means of a supplementation of income, then it generates public interest. It makes things easier also.
Like bamboo. जैसे वो कहते हैं हाथी का दांत इतना मरा हुआ था सवा. Bamboo, even after having been totally destroyed, can be used for alternative fuel. Otherwise, it's a versatile item. जीते जी उसका पैनल भी बनता है, उसका फर्नीचर भी बनता है, उसका मकान भी बनता है, उसके नूडल भी बनते हैं, उसकी टॉयलेटरीज भी बनती हैं. जब वो मर जाता है उसके बाद फ्यूल बनता है. अगर ये हमें पता चल जाए तो हम बैम्बू को ज़ाया नहीं जाने देंगे.
सर प्रशांत हुए एबीपी न्यूज़ से. हर साल ये होगा, ये जो अब इस तरफ से हर साल ये अभियान आप लोग चलाएंगे या इसी साल के लिए है? क्योंकि बीच तो गंदा होता रहेगा सर. और दूसरी चीज़ की हो सकता है कुछ फार फेच्ड हो ये बात, लेकिन क्या कोई जुर्माना वगैरह लगाने की बात है जो बीच को गंदा करेंगे, ऐसा कुछ सोच रहे हैं आप लोग?
नहीं, इस कैंपेन में जुर्माने वाला प्रावधान नहीं है, मगर वो तो खैर वहाँ के स्थानीय प्रशासन, अधिकतर ये स्थानीय इकाइयों के नियंत्रण में रहता है कि वहाँ की कॉरपोरेशन हो, तो वो कैसा जुर्माने वाला तो उनका विभाग है और उनका प्रेरोगेटिव है. अब अगले साल अब देखेंगे कैसे होता है.
Actually, not only now, actually every year we are doing.
No, but we were not doing it in this format.
Yeah, this format we were not doing because of
ये
this
अमृत
year's.
काल के साथ जुड़ गया.
So, but we will continue to, because it is also not required for.
No, not only, it's an ongoing
research.
process.
Yeah, it is ongoing process.
Yes.
डॉक्टर साहब राकेश हूँ इंडिया न्यूज़ से. आईटी दुनिया में अपनी तरह का ये पहला और सबसे लंबे समय तक चलने वाला तटीय सफाई अभियान है, जिसमें सबसे अधिक संख्या, इसमें क्या स्थानीय लोगों का पार्टिसिपेशन कैसा मिला देखने को आपको?
नहीं, बहुत अधिक स्थानीय लोगों को इतना अधिक मिला। और अच्छा किया राकेश जी ने ये प्रश्न पूछा, तो मेरे मन में ये ध्यान में आ गया। इसका इको इफेक्ट इतना ज़्यादा हुआ है कि हम तो 7,500 किलोमीटर जो हमारा कोस्टल समुद्र तट है वहाँ से चले थे, पूर्व से लेके पश्चिम तक, कि उड़ीसा और बंगाल से होते 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 नीचे जा कर के उधर से मुड़ कर के तमिलनाडु से केरल होते होते महाराष्ट्र। इको इफेक्ट इतना हुआ कि उत्तर भारत से अभी कुछ ही हमारे युवा कार्यकर्ता मुझे फ़ोन कर रहे थे, मेरे अपने चुनावी क्षेत्र से भी और दूसरे कि साहब हम भी इसके साथ जुड़ सकते हैं क्या? मैं कहा भाई तुम जुड़ तो सकते हो लेकिन वहाँ समुंदर नहीं है। तो बोले अगर आप बता दें तो हम वहाँ चले जाते हैं। तो इसमें विशेषकर युवाओं में बहुत ज़्यादा उत्साह और बड़ी जिज्ञासा जागी है कि ये एक नए किस्म की जिम्मेवारी ली गई है।
So if there are no more questions, then we'll end the press conference here. I thank the honorable ministers and all the secretaries and staff from officers from the department. Yes. There is, I mean, we have arranged for the lunch. The Minister of Earth Sciences has arranged for the lunch. Please join us over there.
आग्रह मान्यवर की अपने दिव्य उद्गारों से हमें कृतार्थ करें, अपने आशीर्वचनों से हमारा मार्गदर्शन करें माननीय प्रधानमंत्री महोदय।
आज के इस ऐतिहासिक कार्यक्रम, इस पर पूरे देश की दृष्टि है। सभी